Hello, fellow writers. I'm Lewis. That over there is Tolkien, and you have found the Scripturient Society.
Welcome back, writers. That over there is Carissa Harlow, aka Lewis, and I'm Asha Rourke, aka Tolkien. And if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice something I just now noticed, but I wonder if anyone else has noticed previously, which is that when Carissa does like the little like normal intro that she does, I kind of like dance to it like it's a song. Like I know
Aw,
exactly like the beats. I know the rhythm of how
it's
she's
true.
gonna intro the pod. So, anyways, just dancing over here. Um, yeah, I won't get us too far off track though, at least not yet.
Not yet.
Lewis, do you want to tell me how your last 2 weeks have been?
My 2 weeks been good. Which I feel like I also intro the same way every time. Um, I got a new bed, like a new mattress, and
Love
oh
that.
my
Love that.
gosh, it is amazing. I we don't have any paid sponsorships, but if you guys have been seeing those Helix ads, it's actually pretty
Helix, you have a
great.
Helix.
Yes,
Okay.
got Helix. So I think I'm like
Interesting.
my 2 weeks, a week and a half into like that 100-day sleep trial or whatever, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure I'm gonna stick with it. It's really cool. I got a much firmer bed than I normally get
Mm-hmm.
because I just, I'm old apparently, so I wake up with back problems. Um,
Yeah, you're so old.
yes, me in my 20s.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
life was meant to end at 25. Um,
The natural
when
lifespan.
disease was, rampant and all that kind of stuff. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
just living too long. Our backs don't know what to do. Um, so I got that mattress and it's been great. And I think it's funny because I got the one, they're all named like Midnight and Dawn and that kind of stuff. So I got the
Uh-huh.
Twilight bed, which is funny because
Oh,
it's a book,
oh,
but
yeah, it is.
it's also the mattress I wanted. So that worked out really well. Uh
Wow.
yeah, so that's been great. I feel like I've been sleeping really well. Every time I get into bed, I remember, like I forget about it, and then I lay down and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So that's been
Nice.
great.
That's awesome.
There's also just a random hair of mine on this tapestry. I'm just gonna pluck that away real fast. Um,
Just love that you're
and
like, and on this tapestry, because I just have a tapestry.
I do. You guys can't see. It's the one that used to be behind me with the moon and the
Ah,
the
yes, yes,
forest
yes.
scene. So it's now in front of me. You guys get the books and the mirror. Apparently, I don't know. I'm
How
eventually gonna
spooky would
have.
it be if like a face just appeared in the mirror?
Okay,
Like,
so I have a mirror on the back of my door, and then I have this mirror, which is like
ah,
parallel or perpendicular to the door. So
yes.
sometimes when I'm at my desk, I can see my own head in the mirrors and reflecting back weird, and I'm like, oh, who is that?
Oh my
It's me.
God.
It's always me. So that's fun. Also, I don't think did I mention this last time? The motion sensors in our house, we have like motion sensor lights. Sometimes they just randomly come on when there's
No,
nothing
thank
there.
you.
So there's one right outside my room, and occasionally I will be sleeping, and all of a sudden it will just pop on, and I'm like, okay, so that's terrifying. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna, die or something.
yeah.
Um, so
It's
new
fair.
new house things. But
So weird
yeah.
because it's a new build, and I always feel like it's very
Mhm.
hard to get like spooked out by something in a new build because you're like, what could possibly be haunting this house? It didn't
It's
exist
true.
before. So
It's crazy because we were in a two-story, now we're in a one-story, so the creaking is much less. Like
that is
it
so
used to be so
funny.
much creaking,
In my
but
brain,
now.
it's the reverse. And I'd never been to
Really?
your old house, but for some reason in
I
my
haven't.
brain, it's the reverse situation, which
No.
makes very little sense.
I mean, have I ever even told you? I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. I
It's
just had like this very like when you like imagine
yeah.
something one way,
Hmm.
like when you imagine something in a book, then you see the movie and you're
Yeah.
like, that's not what I was picturing at all.
Yeah. Or when they wait too long to tell you what the character looks like, and they're like, she was blonde, and you're like, okay, well, I'm already picturing her as brunette, so we're
So
not
I'm just
changing that
gonna
now.
disregard that entirely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, two-story to one-story. And
Hilarious.
also it's so funny. So my parents got the realtor for the old house, and my mom was reading me like the description they put out on like the coming soon homes to be sold on their realtor website. It's
Hmm.
so like like they're writers. Like it makes it sound so wonderful. They're like this luxurious two-story like house on in this like wonderful part of town with the I don't even know, like an extra large backyard and a wonderful view of the mountains and all this stuff. I'm like, hey, we should buy that house.
You're like, is this
Sounds
the same
great.
house we left? I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
I mean, I do love the house.
Yeah.
So I don't know that their work was cut out for them to write a nice description of it, if I can say so myself. But
Hmm.
it was just like kind of over the top, like, book back of the book description of the house.
Yeah, yeah,
So
as it's supposed to be.
exactly.
That's hilarious.
Um,
They really did their job.
they did. They're doing a really good job. So that's weird. There's like a for sale sign out in the yard now and all that. So I'm much more at peace with it than I thought I would be, because this is the house I've lived in my whole life. So
Yeah, that blows my mind.
yeah, but
That's
the new
crazy.
house is good.
Nice.
What else is going on? Um, I feel like there were other things, but apparently not. You go now.
Oh, okay.
Tag you're it.
Okay. Let's see. What's been happening here? The vet, man, the vet. They're so
Mm.
pricey. I took Winchester. Did I tell you that he got that weird? I think I told you about that weird hematoma on his
Yeah,
ear
you
and he had to
told
have
me.
surgery.
Was it
Yeah.
here that we talked about it? I know about
I
it.
don't know. But my dog had surgery on his ear and it was just
Hmm.
absurdly expensive for ear surgery. And then sorry, still just thinking about how freaking expensive it was. And he
Mm.
also needed like heartworm medication. And why is heartworm medication so expensive? And why do you have to have a prescription to buy it?
Yeah.
It's very, very frustrating. And then today I took Ruby in because she was due for her leptoparvo shot or whatever one that is. And then also because we have this huge flea problem, not in our house, thankfully, but the dog does keep bringing fleas in on her body, which is stressful. But apparently everyone in this area is having a problem because the fleas are really bad this year. And the fleas are becoming resistant to the flea medicine because it's been around for so long. So
Yeah.
like all of the normal flea medicines, I'm like, I don't get it. I am religious about using this flea medication. And I've tried all
Hmm.
different types. And they were like, well, yeah, the fleas are just used to it. They're just basically are super fleas now.
Oh,
And I was
good.
like, well,
I love
that's
it when we do that.
awesome. I know, me too. And so Ruby also, we just ran out of her heartworm medicine. And I didn't used to like as religiously give heartworm medicine to our animals. I know I'm bad, whatever. But like we had like inside dogs and stuff before. And I was like,
Hmm.
or we had a small backyard where I was like, I'm pretty sure I can keep an eye on them and make sure they're not going to like drink up mosquito larvae, and
Sure.
die. But out here, I can't really like verify exactly all what the dogs get into. There's too much
Yeah.
land. So I tried, especially during the hot months, it wigs me out. And so we also very religiously do their heartworm medication. And there's this new type, and it is expensive, but what else isn't? And it's heartworm medication and it's flea and tick. So,
Oh,
and it's in this
two
like
in
once
one,
a
three
month
in
little
one.
thing. Yeah, like 3 in 1. And it's very expensive, but I don't know if it's more expensive than the amount of flea medication I was buying before, plus her heartworm medication. So now both the dogs are on that, but that was just a fun little experience. And every time I'm like, okay, that's probably gonna be like 150, 200. They're like, that'll be $495. And I'm like, I don't understand. I
How?
This is more expensive than my bills, and I'm a human. I don't
Right.
understand. But it's just
Gosh.
insanely
Have
expensive.
you bought anything from thrift books lately? Because
Yes.
they keep sending me Petco coupons with the orders.
That's hilarious. I did just because I'm like in like super saving mode. But
Hmm.
I did just spend $30, which is the first $30 in like 2 months that I've spent like
Yeah,
exclusively on something I don't have to have, but
sure.
on like 7 or 8 books because it's thrift books. And
Yeah.
I am so excited because I'm in like my reading era again. And I'm
Yeah.
very much enjoying it. I've like almost gotten through 3 books this week. So,
Sweet.
and it's what, Tuesday? Like I am on a roll with books
Yeah.
and it's awesome and wonderful. So that's another thing that I've been doing. And then see, therapy. Therapy's nice. Therapy's good. I'm such a treat. I feel
Eh,
like my therapists are not overwhelmed, but like, boy, do I like squeeze out their last drop of patience? Like, I'm like,
you're a
what is my
challenge.
subscription cover? Like, I can message you 24/7. And I feel like they want to include a disclaimer with me that's like, but you don't have to. And I'm like, but you don't understand because my husband's gone this month. So that means I will
Yeah.
be messaging
But I
you
want to.
24/7.
Like, we're friends. It's cool. And they're like, leave
We're
us alone.
pals. Exactly. And one of because I've got two different therapists. One of them, she is so they're both sweet, but like one of them is this like much older woman and she calls us like her patients her peeps. And she always does it like
Hmm.
in quotes every time, even though I know what she means.
Right.
But she still does it in quotes every time. And she is just adorable and she is so sweet. And she's also like, she's got a good sense of humor. I love a therapist with a sense of humor because if not, then I'm not the right patient for that therapist.
I'm sorry,
Um,
wait. Why do you have two therapists? Because you have so many needs?
yes, I have
You
two.
just they have to
Yes,
divvy you out.
yes and no. Basically, like I get therapy free through my job, which is amazing.
Oh,
But the all of the therapists that I've been able to match with, I have not loved. And even this one, and it's like a really limited thing. Like it's like
yeah.
once a week and they don't message very much. So like it's free, so I don't want to like not use it. But it's kind
Got
of
it.
like my backup situation. And then I have
Mhm.
my actual therapist.
Got
But
it.
so basically, yeah, that's which I know sounds silly, but I even with the two of them, I think they're like, get this
I'm
man
still
home
overwhelming.
right now. I'm still overwhelming. Yeah. But
Of
so that's been fun and it's very hot and my baby's adorable, so that's nothing surprising.
course.
Yeah, that's I think that's oh, I mowed my lawn, which
Oh,
sounds not that exciting, but it took me 3.5 hours on a riding lawnmower just to get the front and backyard. So like it's sizable and I'm
because
just
it was
pretending
overgrown or big?
both.
Oh, okay.
Very much both. And I did not, so there's the rest of the property I'm just pretending doesn't exist. I'm just like, it doesn't exist and I can't see it because I'm not going to do
Yeah,
it right now. And I
fair
have
enough.
conned my brother and CJ into coming down tomorrow and they're going to help me with
Oh,
some chores that I just need like an
nice.
extra hand to do. Like I need multiple vehicles to get to my vehicle at the mechanic and then take it to the dealership because the mechanic can't fix what's wrong with it, which
Your
is
car
very
is still at the
annoying.
dealership?
It's still at the mechanic shop. And then I haven't
You're right.
taken
You
it.
said mechanic. Sorry. It's still
Yeah,
at the
no, you're good.
mechanic?
It's still at the mechanic. And that's largely because I have been trying to figure out how to get my vehicle and get it to the dealership because they said what's
Mm,
wrong with it is something that it would be really expensive for them to fix, but the dealership can do it for way less, which I feel like is usually the reverse, but whatever.
yeah. Never heard of that
So
before.
I know, right? And so now we have to take it to the dealership, but that means I have to go to the mechanic in my vehicle, pick up my other vehicle, and then take it to the dealership and then come back. And so I need like another vehicle to be my transportation back.
All right.
So I'm making Caleb and CJ help me with that. And then I'm
Cool.
also making them my stepdad's mom, she's such a wonderful woman, Martha. I love her so much. She's such a force to be reckoned with. She's been getting rid of some of her stuff because she's moving into a house, like a different house, like a house closer to my mom and Greg. And so she's got this like big chest of drawers that I want really badly because I'm gonna like refinish them. That
Hmm.
and then she wants to give us her old surround sound system. And so
Cool.
I need Caleb and CJ to go scurry on over and take it all down and bring it back to me
Nice.
because I don't have the time to do
Yeah.
it. And I also like I can't lift the chest of drawers on my own.
Yeah.
So might as well. So that's nice. So I'm gonna get some free labor out of them boys this week.
Cool.
Oh, and this is the most
Oh,
exciting of all. And this will be my last thing. Because then everyone's like, stop talking, Ash. God, save it for your therapists. Plural.
yeah. This is your third therapist.
It really is. Yeah. Oh, God.
Uh,
And then I call my mom all the time and she's like, hi, Ash. Is everything okay? And I'm like, everything's fine. I just wanted to say hi, see how you're doing today. Want to hear
she's
about
like,
being
"Are
right again?
you sure?" Oh my gosh.
I'm a mess. Javi's the person I talk to like 95% of the times. It's
Yeah.
very hard that he's not only gone, which I'm used to, but he's like he's not allowed to have his phone on him until the very
Oh,
end of the month. So it's basically a month of I can't
no
even text
contact.
him, which is just
Right.
crazy. So yeah, so that's why I'm like
Makes
being
sense.
extra, I guess, needy, which is also not my thing. So I'm just altogether uncomfortable this month. But I'm excited because Javi does not know that this Saturday I'm gonna go get a tattoo. I'm
Ooh.
getting my dragon tattoo. So I have a sun on my
Yeah.
shoulder, and kind of
Yeah.
over my heart, flying into the sun, is gonna be a dragon.
Oh,
For
cute.
Riley, and there's going to be
Yeah.
stars and maple leaves kind of like blown in the wind, like kind of
Cool.
like following the dragon's path because maples, I guess maple trees are the October
Mm,
October tree or whatever, so it's Riley's like birth month. And also
mm-hmm.
it's nice because then I always get a little bit of fall, which is
Oh,
nice because it's my favorite
yeah.
season. So I'm very excited about
That's
it.
so cute. I assume
Yeah.
you already got it like designed and stuff, or you're,
Yeah.
yeah,
I have it
nice.
designed. I mean, I did it myself and I'm not a good artist. So basically I was
Mm.
like, I took it to the tattoo artist and I was like, I want this, but like good.
But good.
And they were
But
like, you can
better.
do that. And I was like, okay, thank you. So
Excellent.
yeah. So we'll see what they come up with because I was like, I don't want it to look like a cartoon. And I only
Mm,
want line work and I want it to be kind of thin and to kind of like match the way my other tattoos look. Like I don't want it to
mhm.
be like really big either. Like I want it to be
Yeah.
kind of like delicate. Like most of my
Yeah.
tattoos are fairly, I think, delicate.
Mhm.
So, anyways, I'm
Nice.
extremely excited about it. I'm trying to like do one thing a week that I can look forward to until Hobby gets home. That's how I'm functioning.
All right, cool.
Yep. Anyways, though, that's my week. Is there anything else that you want to share? Do you want to get into book recs?
We can do book recs.
Sweet.
I finally have I'm blanking on the title. Is it A Curse for True Love? It's the third book in Stephanie Garber's Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Is that what it's called? The follow-up to Caraval? Wow, just totally
Oh
blanking
yeah,
on
I
all
think
that.
so.
Yeah, so I finished that and it was very good. I really like Stephanie Garber. And the way it ended, like, I don't want to spoil too much to like give away stuff for you guys, but basically she's built this like a pantheon and then also like a fairy tale compilation kind of concept. So like I think there are more books coming with different characters. So I'm very excited for
Woo!
that.
That's exciting.
I really liked it. So yeah, if you guys are like, do I want to read this follow-up series by Stephanie Garber? Yes, you do. It's very like fairy tale, it's very like flowy dresses and
Love that.
like archery and forbidden love, and it's very fun. So
Nice.
I enjoyed it. Um, so yeah, that's my rec. I thought I was really getting back into it because I got okay, this is sort of a story. I'm gonna tell really fast. I got another bookshelf. It's fine. It's going on top of another bookshelf in my room. And because of just the way it squeezes in there, I actually had to cut part of the other bookshelf away because it was on like little stilts and I had to cut part of the stilts
Oh my
off. Really,
goodness.
my mom did it, but to get it to fit. And then in the process, I was like, man, I'm really motivated to read now because I put a bunch of books on the shelf and then I read that one and I read one more and now I'm stuck again. So, we're working on it. It's a process. I'm so glad that you're in your reading era though, because
Hmm.
man, do I want to be back there. And on that note, segue, Ash, what have you read?
Not me looking at the books that I read because I cannot remember them the second after I read them.
Yeah.
So I finished this one this morning. It's called, I believe it's called The Hunt or The Hunted. No, it's called Hunted, and it's by
Okay.
Darcy Coates. And
Ah.
I really think you would enjoy this book specifically.
Oh, okay.
Um, First of all, for reference, I would give this book 4 pinkies up, which is a lot.
Nice.
Um, this is 4 out of 5 pinkies up out of the That Pretentious Book Club rating system that we use from our sister
Nice.
podcast. If you're unfamiliar, I'm sure by now that all of you know and are tired of hearing about it. But yeah, so that's pretty good. It's kind of got like some horror elements, but also like kind of like thriller, but also it feels like what's the myth with the Minotaur in the labyrinth?
Oh, uh-huh. Theseus?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
the
it
right
feels
person?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like the story of Theseus meets Lord of the Flies,
Ah.
meets like missing person, like
Ooh,
hunt. It
all
is
right.
crazy. I really think
Yeah.
that you would enjoy it a lot. It's very much a
Okay.
Karissa book. I enjoyed it, but I think you would enjoy it even more. Because to me, like
Ooh.
some of like the horror elements, I was like, no, I'm too scared and now I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could handle it better than me.
Yeah.
So
Did I recommend Darcy Coates to you? That name sounds so familiar. I think
you
I've read
might
some of
have.
her stuff.
I was going through Chirp because I go through Chirp audiobooks occasionally and I'm like,
Hmm.
what kind of 2.99 sale do we have
Hmm.
today? And I
Of
got like a
course.
handful of interesting 2.99 books. And that was one of them. And I finally remembered that I had it and I listened to
Oh,
it in like
cool.
2 days. And I'm listening to another
Nice.
one that's called I Know You Remember by Jennifer Donaldson.
Ooh.
I'm actually so far I'm like, is this a 5 pinkies up book? Which is very surprising because these are just
Yeah.
like the books that I found that were on sale, and sometimes they are not winners because of that.
Right. Like they're on sale for a reason, but occasionally,
Yeah,
man, that's kind of how I feel about the
yeah.
Audible free trial. The books that
Hmm.
are just like free, I'm like, it's fun, but it's fine. And I found a few that I'm like, this is
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very hit or miss, and I have 2 hits in a row. So
Nice.
yeah, that's been enjoyable. And I'm almost done reading Kendall's book that she sent me. That's
Yeah.
Spoons Palermo, and also what is it? So Owen Barfield. That's her literary
so.
nickname over here, I
Is
believe,
it?
when she joins
Feels
us. Owen
wrong, but it
Barfield,
also
isn't it?
feels right.
From the Inklings.
Yes. Moving on. I don't
Whatever.
remember.
Spoons, Kendall Shaw, aka Dr. Spoons Palermo, aka possibly Owen Barfield. Uh, she sent me her book to read a long time ago. I have hers and then I have yours. And so because I'm in my
Mhm.
reading era, I'm like almost done with hers and I'll probably finish it later
Oh,
tonight.
nice.
And then I'm going to start reading
Mhm.
yours. And
Oh
then
my gosh,
that's
yay.
my on my phone book because I read it on my phone because it's where it is. And then I have
Because
like
that's where it
my,
is.
because it's where it is. And then I have my paper books coming in the mail from Thrift Books. And then I've got my
Yeah.
audiobooks that I listen to like while I work instead of like
Just
listening to a
juggle.
podcast. So I
I love it.
am, yeah, constantly in a fantasy world and it's delightful. So
Sweet.
strong book recs. And also over at that pretentious book club, we covered Macbeth. And
Yeah.
I really, really liked Macbeth. I gave it
Yeah.
like 4 point something, like
Have you not
something
read it before?
high. No, I hadn't. I liked it before too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm very skeptical of Shakespeare. I
Mm.
know everyone's like, he's such an artist and amazing. And I'm like, I just don't really care. I just don't
Mm.
really enjoy him that much. I think he's ridiculous. And also, I just hate Hamlet, the character of Hamlet,
Yeah.
so much that it poisons
I know
all
you
of
do.
Shakespeare for me. And I don't care how unreasonable that
It's all right. I love Hamlet, but I feel you.
He's so annoying. But that's a different problem. But also like I just don't tend to like connect with Shakespeare as much. I don't
Mm.
think the humor's like as funny, which is not surprising. I'm
Yeah.
never like with whatever's like the comedy of the day. I'm always like, I don't get the
Yes.
joke,
The
you know?
1500s.
Well, like at the time, it was the comedy of the day. Like at the time,
Sure.
it was like for the common people. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
It's still
okay.
too popular.
I'm like, it's not clever enough. I want it to be
Mm.
wittier. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it's because a lot of it actually goes over my head. But
Mm.
for whatever reason, not a huge fan of Shakespeare. There are a lot of other writers from that time I would prefer to read. But
Mhm.
I love Macbeth. It is so
Yeah.
good. So
Yes.
good.
So good.
So
I
strong
agree.
recommendation for that if y'all have never read it. If you like a thriller or like a horror, book, basically it's this rich couple killing a bunch of people, so and there's
Yep.
witches and some ooky spooky vibes, and we were like, this is
Mm-hmm.
very like
Double
Halloween
toilet trouble.
atmosphere. Yeah, I was like, it's
Mm-hmm.
weird that this is not considered more of like a Halloween read because the vibes
Yeah.
are very like spooky.
Spooky. They are.
Yeah.
Correct.
So strong recommendation for Macbeth if anyone has not
Yeah.
read it. And there are some just absolutely amazing, stunning lines in there. So
Mm-hmm. It's true.
those are my book recs.
Good
Do we
stuff.
have a word of the week?
Yes. This one is weird to say because it sounds like two words that it is not. Hirsute. 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 And is one word. And it means hairy. So like a
Like a
hirsute
hairsuit.
man. Yep.
Like a
Kind of,
hairsuit.
but it's not how it's
Hey, that man
pronounced.
is
Yeah.
so hirsute. He looks like he's wearing a hairsuit.
Yeah.
He's
Which is
hirsute.
actually using it correctly. I'm always
I
throwing when you
know.
do
I
that.
used it correctly.
Yep. Gorillas, very, very hairy men. They would all be described as hirsute.
Hirsute.
I suppose hairy women as well. You could have a hirsute face. Um, Mostly it refers to animals and people.
That's the
But
hirsutiest guy I've ever seen.
there it is. That's what we want from Ash.
Italians, Italians might be the hirsutiest of the peoples.
Yes.
It's possible. Just throwing it out there.
Putting it out there for contemplation and horror.
I hate this word.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
know.
I hate the
It's
way it's
horrifying, right?
spelled. I hate
Uh-huh.
the way it looks. I don't
It's
like the
pronounced.
meaning.
I had to
I
look it
hate
up.
everything about it.
I was thinking it was going to be like here sweet or here sooty or something
Yeah,
like that. It was like her suit.
hirsute.
It's like a suit of hair, but for
Yeah,
a woman.
it
And that's just
rhymes
so much
with
worse.
fursuit, but
Yeah.
it's like her suit of fur, which is
The
worse.
feminine, which is worse.
I definitely hate this word and everything about
Mhm.
it. I don't like
Yeah,
the letters together either. Like, there's nothing about this word that I'm okay with.
it feels a little bit made up. Okay, this is probably super wrong, but it feels a little Germanic, and maybe that's why I don't like it because I tend to like Latin and Greek. So who knows? Not me. Wait, I'm gonna
It's
quickly
the
look it up.
Germans.
It says, that
Oh,
language. Etymology. Oh, it's Latin. We're wrong, but it
oh
feels Germanic.
wow.
So the Romans really screwed that
Upsetting
one up.
because it feels like in Latin it would be like hirsute, which
Right?
is at least not as bad as like hirsute.
Exactly.
which is very
This is
bad.
just, you know what it is? It's the stupid English Germanic pronunciation of a beautiful Latin word that we have probably butchered.
Probably.
So, yeah,
If I
yes.
look at it and I try to pretend it's like an Italian word, it looks a lot less ugly. It's because I
Mm,
know how it's pronounced and it looks disgusting and I hate
yeah.
it. Hirsute.
Yep.
Yeah, it just feels like none of those
Weird.
letters go together in that
Yeah.
order. I don't like it.
It is very weird. Okay,
Wow.
on a brighter note, I think I don't think I've said this before. I learned a really cool fun fact the other day that is word related. So, you know the word soccer and how like, the Brits and the Europeans are like, did I already tell you this?
No, I'm just
Oh,
laughing because I'm like, I've heard
okay.
of soccer. I'm familiar with the
I think I
word.
sent you a video about it, but I sent you a couple videos and I'm like, I don't know if she saw them because these are amazing.
I
But
also don't know.
it was so like the British and the Europeans and stuff, they call it like football, right? And but our football, American football, is a different sport. So we call soccer soccer, and they call soccer football. And I don't know what they call football football.
I don't think they
But
play it.
someone I know, probably. But I saw this podcast, and I don't remember the podcast, but it was someone talking about the origin of the word soccer. Soccer is actually the correct word. It was the original word. And the Europeans are all like, they're like purists. They're like, it's football. No, it's not. It's soccer. Because
Ha!
apparently when the
Suck it,
sport
Europe.
like I know when the sport first like came into being or whatever, it was some kind of association of da 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 da, right? So they shortened it to ASOC for association. And then they had this habit of putting ER at the end of words. So it was a soccer. And then they just dropped the A and it was soccer. And that was the original. And American football existed first.
Wow.
So like that was like later and they
Suck it.
stole our
Suck
word
it.
and then they shame us for it, which I
Oh
feel
my
like happens a
gosh.
lot.
That does
So
happen a lot.
I'm so satisfied with this fun fact. So take that out into the world as the Summer
Wow.
Olympics approach and use it against your European friends.
See,
Because
this is another reason I really need Javi to get home because I need to tell him this because then he's going to aggressively tell everyone that we meet for all of August through like February.
yeah.
And it's going to be like, hey, how are you? How's your day going? Did you know? And then
Did
he's
you
going to
know?
like go into the whole soccer football thing. And
Yes,
I can't wait to see him pick fights that absolutely no one wants to fight. This is
I
so
love it.
thrilling. I need him to get
Yep.
back. Just
So
one more. I'll
bonus
talk to my
linguistic
therapists about it.
fact.
Yeah.
Yes, they need
I'll
to
be sure
know
to
too.
share it with my therapist so that they know.
So you can be calm by the time you tell Javi.
Yeah. I'll be like, no big
Oh,
deal or anything. I learned about this fact. You just might want to know it.
it's just amazing. I also sent you a video real fast of this person saying, "Why are two best friends always the person that remembers everything, even back to their childhood, and the one person that has the memory of a goldfish and doesn't remember anything?" And I'm like, that is me and Ash. I remember everything, and Ash is like, "What did I do yesterday?"
Absolutely no idea. Like I'm already losing
No.
all of my like college memories. I used to joke like I don't remember anything from high school. I mean, it wasn't a joke. It was just true. I shouldn't want people to be sad for me. But now I'm like I am losing all of college. Like I think I
Oh
take away
man.
my degree because I'm forgetting most of my college experience.
Oh no.
I use the skills, so
Yeah.
hopefully
As
not.
long as you're maintaining, you just don't remember where you first learned them.
Yeah, like GCU.
It's
What is
fine.
that? I think I've heard of that place before.
Yeah, they have commercials on TV and stuff.
Ah, that's it's from the commercials. You're right. That's what it
Yeah.
is. That's
Yeah.
why I know
You
it.
just imagined you went there.
Yeah, I had like a dream once.
hmm
As I'm fully wearing a GCU shirt right now.
Are you
Where did
like,
I get
where did this
this?
come from?
And actually, this is so off the wall, but I think about this like a weird amount. Like if I was like ever found dead, right,
Huh.
wearing this specific shirt, I had like no identification on me. They would probably have a really hard time figuring out who I am simply based on this GCU shirt because it has the wrong graduating class on it.
Does it?
Yes, because this
Is
is
it the year before
actually
you? Is
no,
it Caleb's or something? Or
this
no, he
is
didn't
2 years
graduate.
after 2 years after
2 years.
me because
Nice.
this was one that Lauren our blonde friend Lauren, there were
Mm-hmm.
two Laurens at GCU, so I always clarified the
Yep.
blonde one.
Yes.
She came and did some school with us, so if she had stayed and graduated from GCU instead of a
That would have
different
been our
school,
class.
this would have been her class. And she gave this to me at some point, and I don't know why, but I have it, and it's like an extra extra large, which means it's like the comfiest of comfy shirts. And so
Nice.
every time I put this on, for absolutely no reason, I'm like, hope I don't die with no ID on me while I'm wearing this.
Because they will be confused as heck. Oh my gosh. Although to be fair, I often think about what people would assume about me if I died in the clothes I'm currently wearing. Like just whatever I happen to be wearing at the moment.
Yeah.
So that seems normal.
I think they would think my tattoos are cool though. So
Yeah.
like there's that.
Man,
Yeah.
I wish we knew who this girl was. She seems really cool.
Feels like we would have been friends. I don't know.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Anyways. Okay. Do we want to get into the theme for this episode?
yeah, we are going to talk about unlikable protagonists.
Woo!
Woo! We did the same thing.
AKA
That was weird.
yours truly. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
sure.
I mean, a little bit maybe. I mean, because we're all, we all want to think that we're the protagonists of our own
Mm,
story. And I don't know that
yes.
I'm the most likable one. I
I
sometimes
don't
make
know.
a good joke.
I feel like most people would not actually be particularly likable protagonists. Uh, I don't know.
That's
Anyway, we'll
probably
get into
true.
that. So I thought, first of all, we would define what an unlikable protagonist is, because I think sometimes people get confused. Um, so I like, what do you think it is? I want to test you first. Not that I'm going to be correct, like concretely, but
You're more likely to be concretely correct than me. It's just a fact. I not to be so obtuse about it, but I want to say that an unlikable protagonist is one who is not very likable.
oh my gosh, mind blown.
No, I think it's someone who readers will probably pretty obviously see like a few glaring problems with.
Mhm.
Definitely not the like hero archetype. Like this is going to be a person who's a little harder to get behind. Like they don't rub you the wrong way so much that you're like just too annoyed to root for them, but they
Mhm.
rub you the wrong way enough that you're like, I don't think we would be close friends. You're like, I
Yeah.
don't wish anything bad for you. And then of course, hopefully you learn like things about them that make them even more valuable to you as a character. But like they just kind of rub you the wrong way a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if you have that friend who you're like, I really care about you, but like I need like limited doses of you.
Mhm.
That feels kind of like the sweet spot for an unlikable
Mm.
protagonist. And I'll hit you with
Yeah.
these immediate examples because they're the first two that pop to mind every time. And I don't care how stereotypical they
I know
are.
what they
They
are.
are,
They were on the sheet.
yep, Emma from the
Yep.
book Emma by Jane
Yep.
Austen and Kaz Brecker from Six
Yep.
of Crows. These are, to me, and probably to many others, the most iconically unlikable protagonists.
Yep.
Never has there ever been a protagonist that has been so unlikable and yet so successfully written.
Mm.
Because usually I feel like if you're crossing the lines that Emma crosses and that Kaz Brecker crosses, it's very hard to remain the
No one
protagonist of
likes
your
you.
story. No one likes
Yeah.
you anymore. But people are still like, I think I kind of might be in love with Kaz Brecker. And people are
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I still really think Emma would be a great friend. And I have a lot of problems with Emma, but I do still really enjoy the book.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many thoughts on this, but anyways, I'll let you take
Yes.
it away from there because I feel like I sufficiently answered my little pop quiz questions.
Okay, cool. You even gave examples. Good job.
I did. I showed my work.
Yeah, and I think you kind of like hinted at some of the things that I think people mistake it for. I think a lot of times people think unlikable characters are annoying characters or
Mm-hmm.
protagonists, and that's not what you're going for, which we can talk about a
Mm-mm.
little later. Um, and I also think that sometimes they think they have like no redeeming qualities, and that that's like gonna justify it, like, oh, as long as they're the protagonist, they can be absolutely despicable and they'll just be an unlikable protagonist. That's not really how it works.
Yep.
Um, morally gray versus or like evil is getting a little closer, but I don't think that's still there. And I think the problem that I have is that I don't think unlikable protagonist is like what we should call them. Like unlikable is a weird word there because they are likable, but they're not likable in real life. Does that make sense? Like they're
Yeah.
interesting enough that you
Mm-hmm.
like reading about them, but you don't like who they are, I guess.
They're interesting. They're a
Mm-hmm.
fascinating character study, but you wouldn't be friends with them. It's really more
Yeah,
of, and it's also difficult. I was thinking about this too, because there's not like one specific definition because
right.
it's subjective. Like
Mm,
who everyone has different friends. Like someone who I may not enjoy very much, you might think is a great, like you get a kick out of them.
mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like a generality of this person would be someone who's hard to make friends with.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually think a lot of it is like I feel like unlikable protagonists can be somewhat universally unlikable when you pick out like those qualities that most people don't
Don't
like Emma
enjoy.
Woodhouse, right?
Exactly.
Is her last
Yeah.
name Woodhouse? Yeah.
Yeah.
She has like this sort of like a superiority complex, and like she's such a gossip,
And
right?
she's a
People don't
gossip,
tend
a
to like those.
know-it-all. She's
Yes.
pushy. She's like
Hmm.
matchmaking people who don't want to be matchmade.
Yep. She
Like,
thinks she
yeah.
knows it all. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so those are qualities that even if you are a know-it-all, you probably don't like other know-it-alls, and you're not going to like
Yeah.
seeing that kind of reflected back at you.
Hmm.
Whereas there are certain qualities that are negative qualities, like I don't know, everything I just thought of was not actually a negative quality, like shyness. But like certain qualities like maybe have the reputation for being negative, even though they're not,
Hmm.
where, there's some redeeming quality in there, or like not everyone can necessarily relate to disliking it or whatever. Like some people like that other people are shy. Some people like that other people are even, like really confident or whatever.
Yeah.
But some people even like cockiness. Like it just kind of depends. But there are certain
That would be
traits. Yeah,
me.
exactly. See everyone Ash cares about. Not really.
They're all cocky AF. No, it's
Yeah.
largely true. And as
Yeah.
part of that is seeing that little flaw reflected back at me where I'm like, well, I like
Hmm.
them and they have it, so I can't be that.
Right. So yeah, like when you're talking about unlikable protagonists, I feel like you're talking a little bit about the things that people don't want to see reflected back at them, even if they
Mhm.
have that quality. And if they
Yeah.
don't have that quality, they don't want it in their lives. And
Yeah.
it's just like you're taking it as a mixed bag with a person, or
Mhm.
you're like working on it, but it's not the thing that you would want in someone. Like no one really necessarily
Yeah.
wants, the Emma Woodhouse or even the Kaz Brecker, even though people love him. Because I do think
Yeah.
the Kaz Brecker is liked, but he's an unlikable protagonist. So it's kind of like a strange way to
Yeah.
describe it.
Well, I
But
love him, but he is the
mhm,
worst. I
yeah,
mean, I
the
think
the
it's
moral
also
decisions he makes, they're terrible.
they're terrible. Absolutely.
Hmm.
That's the problem. I think it's kind of like when you have everyone's got this family member or members plural where you're like, I see you making your own problems. Your life could be so much
Hmm.
easier, but you keep making these choices or doing this thing or being a certain way, and it's creating
Yeah.
more problems for you. And it is so frustrating to see someone you care about doing that. And
Hmm.
so frustrating to see someone who you would otherwise like doing things that are making them unlikable. So
Right.
I think that's kind of a big part. I think unlikable characters, the unlikable protagonists specifically, are characters who are otherwise good but are so prone to self-sabotage that it's annoying. Because
Yeah.
like you as the reader can see the pitfalls of the way that they're behaving and the choices they're
Hmm.
making, and you can't stop them. And it's so frustrating. Like Kaz
Yeah.
Brecker, it's like that double-edged sword of like he's very tough. Cool, that's adorable. We love a
Hmm.
tough guy, sure, but also he's so closed off that he won't make like connections with people, that he won't like admit to them, and then
Hmm.
he breaks his own heart because he won't, spoilers, admit how he feels about Inej.
Right.
So it's so painful to see because you're like, she's like the perfect person to like be with you because
Hmm.
she already sees how strong you are. She's not going to think like that you're less strong because you have feelings, you know?
Right.
But he's going to continue to self-sabotage. Emma Woodhouse is a wildly intelligent person, but she
Hmm.
can seem vapid and like
Yeah.
vain because of the things that she chooses to take a stand on and to get involved in and quote unquote like care about. But she's a
Hmm.
highly intelligent person who cares extremely deeply about her people. So
Yep.
like they likable protagonists, super prone to self-sabotage, and they have these really great qualities that are wrapped up in really really annoying qualities. So
Yeah.
you see like the nice juicy center and you're like, I care
Hmm.
about you and I love you because I see that and that's why I'm rooting for you, but everything that
Yes.
you have wrapped around that is making me want to punch you in the face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely, they have to be some sort of a mixed bag. I like your metaphor better with like the center being good, but that like the layers are not great,
Mhm.
because it's,
You've met my
you want it.
husband.
Yeah, I mean that's
I mean,
Hobby
I'm
to a
kind of.
T.
Oh wow! Whoa! Did I marry an unlikable protagonist? Listen, Javi, it's
Look,
a
Ash, I'm not saying
disclaimer,
anything.
but it's okay. I understand. I for disclaimer also, I am not like trashing on my husband right
No,
now. I love him so much,
yeah.
but I kind of do think like if someone were to like write a book where he's the main character, I think he
Hmm.
would be an unlikable protagonist. I think he'd
Yeah.
have a lot of growth towards the end and be totally
Hmm.
likable, much like Kaz Brecker in that series.
Yeah.
But like he is definitely someone who has got the layers, and he's like a marshmallow center, but like
Yes.
two people in the whole world know.
He's like
So
Shrek. He's
he's a
like,
lot like
he
Shrek.
tries to scare everyone away, but then like, if you're Donkey, it's great.
Yeah, it's true. If your
Your
donkey
Fiona,
is
it's great.
awesome. Yeah, also like if you have a kitten in the vicinity,
Hmm.
it's like the weirdest thing. Yeah, but I think, oh, wow, I think I might have married an unlikable protagonist.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
Although
I hate that I think you would like that description.
I think he would.
Yeah.
Like
You'd
Emma
be like, hell
Woodhouse would
yeah.
not like being described that way. Casbrecker
Mm-mm.
wouldn't care, and Hobby would love it. So
Yeah,
we're looking for a
100%.
range.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yep.
largely true.
Yep.
But yeah, it's all about them layers. Those
It
layers
is.
have got they've got to be. I think abrasive is a word that can generally be used too for unlikable
Mm.
protagonists because
Yep.
Emma and Kaz Brecker they could not have less in
Right.
common with each other. They are
They're
like
so different.
so different, but they're both abrasive in their
Hmm.
own ways. So I
Yes.
think having a protagonist who's kind of abrasive, who
Hmm.
also maybe something to think about is this is your protagonist. So this is where you kind of have to toe the line. Like, we're not going for like, we don't want like evil or even like
Right.
morally gray for a protagonist is still pretty difficult because the thing that Kaz and Emma have in common is these two pretty polar opposite examples that really run the gamut of well done, likable protagonists. Their
Hmm.
intentions, yes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but this is a different discussion. Their intentions behind the way they act are ultimately good. Kaz
Hmm.
ultimately is trying to get justice for, again, spoiler, his brother. And a lot of the
Hmm.
choices he makes ultimately, he thinks are because and they are in the best interest of protecting his friends. And
Hmm.
so, and with Emma, she thinks ultimately that the choices she's making are in the best interest of her friends and family.
Yep. And because
That
they're the
doesn't mean they're right.
protagonists, yeah, you get into their heads so you can see that
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. But
Yeah.
everyone around them can't
Can't.
necessarily see that, especially if you're
Yeah.
Casbrecker and you're not saying anything, or you're Emma and you're too proud to say anything.
Yeah,
So it's,
exactly.
yeah, it's that
Yeah.
reader perspective that can take someone that's like externally really annoying and really abrasive
Yeah.
and make them into someone you want to see redeemed because
Yeah.
you can see what only they are seeing,
It's someone
basically.
who you and I think part of writing like a satisfying unlikable protagonist is that whether it's the course of through like a book or a series of books, like you want to see the outer layers start to melt away a little bit. It's not
Hmm.
satisfying. If Kaz Brecker's like layers did not start to melt away, that would have been like so frustrating and
Hmm.
unsatisfying. And I probably just would have been like, I hate this guy. I hate
Yep.
him. Whatever. Same
Okay,
with Emma.
so I think a good example of this, it's not a book, but in Once Upon a Time, Rumpelstiltskin, right? He
I
starts
love
out
him.
okay, so I love him too. He starts out so great, but I do think that by the time we get to like season 3 or 4, he starts to become just actively annoying because
Oh,
he's
you're
not
so
learning
mad
from
at
his
him.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
those first couple seasons where you see him trying and you see like, okay, he has all this grief over his son and he wants to get
Mm-hmm.
Belle back and he's,
Your heart
he's
bleeds. And then we hit
yeah, he's
season
kind
three
of
and four, and you're
trying.
like, I'm gonna smack the crap out of you,
Yeah,
man.
you learned
Yeah.
this lesson 2 seasons ago. Like, what's happening? So, yeah, that's a kind of a good example of a really good start for an unlikable protagonist. And then kind of like, I don't know. I think it went a little bit downhill just because I stopped rooting for him because I was like, I've already been down this road of really wanting to see you change and then thinking you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you want to make that change. Like, really with every character, but with your unlikable protagonist, you want there to be this journey from like you said, like melting away those qualities and kind of getting to know him or the character and then like all the people around that
Yeah.
character getting to know them a little more like we the reader can.
Yeah.
But you can't undermine your own progress. Like yes, people take 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. That can happen,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't end in the same place they started. It can't be
Yeah.
like 10 steps forward and then 10 steps back and then we end like 1 step forward. It's got to
Yeah.
be a general progression where mistakes might be made, but you see that change
Mm-hmm.
really like staying, like becoming
Yeah.
more permanent. So I think sometimes that's a mistake people make with unlikable protagonists is that they think they need to maintain those qualities that originally made them unlikable. And
Mm-hmm.
like to an extent you can. Like Emma Woodhouse is still going to be, a little bit of a gossip. And you know what,
She's
that's
still
fine.
gonna be a
But
know-it-all. Yeah. And Kaz
yeah,
Brecker is still like morally, you can tell his lines are
yeah,
not what most people, they still a little bit abhorrent in some
he's never going to
ways.
be lawful good, okay? He's just
No, he's
not.
not. He's not. He's not. But it's like with protagonists, the thing that sets them apart from because protagonists can also be their own antagonists and all that jazz.
Uh-huh.
But like protagonists, what sets them apart is that you can root for them, and that even when that you
Mhm.
don't like them, you're still rooting for them to like
Right.
win whatever their cause is, you know, to win the
Mhm.
battle or whatever.
Yes.
And if you keep doing like the Rumpelstiltskin thing, what happens is not even that you'll necessarily make them like, oh, I'm rooting for him, I'm rooting for him, and now he keeps making the same mistakes over and over and over, and I'm not seeing any growth, and now I hate him. They're just going to become apathetic. It's
Yes. And
like,
that's worse.
it's so much worse. And so
Yeah.
if you have a protagonist and your characters feel apathetic about them, like you've
Mhm.
lost the battle with your readers
Yep.
completely. Like, yeah, definitely a problem. And
Yep.
that's not to say that when the reverse, so you're melting away the layers because you want to prevent that apathy from setting in. So you keep melting away the
Right.
layers, they're making progress. Maybe they ice up again, but then they melt out some more, you know, whatever, like real progress kind of looks like. They don't have to be
Mhm.
completely melted at the end. You're not like, oh, and
Right.
now they're just a gooey center, you know?
Right.
No, absolutely.
That's
And
not,
they
yeah.
not, and they can still be, as we said, they can still be unlikable to a degree. Like,
Mhm.
they can be someone who's not everyone's taste. I,
Mhm.
to use my husband as an example again, which I did not think I was going to do, and is I clearly miss him a lot because
Yeah.
I'm,
He's on your mind or something.
but also unlikable protagonists. I mean, like, come on, I
Yeah.
like him, but I get to see the gooey center and
Mhm.
there's still some layers around that, and he'll always be
Mhm.
growing and changing some, so hopefully those will continue to shift. But like, even seeing like the inner layers, he's still like not everyone's taste. Even the people
Right.
he's starting to trust more in my life and my family, so he's growing closer to people, like they're able to see the good in him and they're
Mhm.
enjoying him more, and like they're like adorably like calling each other to check in on stuff, which is
Mhm.
like so sweet. I know that he's still not like their taste all the time, and vice
Yeah.
versa. It's like,
Yeah.
it's easy to say like, oh, Javi would probably be an unlikable protagonist, but if Javi was reading a book with any of these people, they would also probably be unlikable to him because
Right.
he's
Exactly.
yeah. um
He gives what he takes.
so yeah, exactly. So like, doesn't have to completely melt away in the end, and it's okay if they're not like all around likable. It's okay if they're
Mhm.
still a little unlikable. Emma is, I respect her. Basically, at the beginning of the book, I don't like her and I don't respect her, but I don't hate her because
Mhm.
I know she's got good intentions, and I just hope that she improves and gets better. And then at the
Right.
end, I still don't like her, but I do
Mhm.
respect her. So that's different. It's kind of the same with Kaz. Like, at the beginning, you don't even
Mhm.
know if you can respect him, but you're like, I don't know why, but I like you. There's something about you that,
Mhm.
not you, that I like, because everything about you is the worst. But like, I like where you're coming from,
Mhm.
and I want you to succeed because I think that there's some good stuff here.
Yeah.
But we got to see which way you're going to turn because you're
Yeah.
just absolutely crazy. And then at the end there, like, I'll say
You know,
I'm
some
losing.
change, but not
Yeah.
totally melted. I
Yeah.
actually think you wouldn't want them to be totally melted. I think you want them to still have those leftover traits that made them unlikable at the beginning, because otherwise it feels like you as the writer have just gotten lazy and you just turn them into a different character. You have to
Yeah.
like hold over some of those qualities. Like,
Yeah.
even if you know that you have an area of your life you have to improve on, like, you're not a book character, so you should continue to improve throughout your life. You never hit an
Yeah.
endpoint, but like that still remains in some capacity,
Hmm.
right? Like, if you're really prideful, you might become more humble, but it's not totally gone. Like, there's still
Yeah.
gonna be areas of your life where that comes out.
Yeah.
And maybe it comes out in like the more positive spin on like confidence as opposed to outright pride, but it's
Yeah.
still going to be some version of that that other people wouldn't have.
Yeah. To
So I
imply
would,
that the growth is totally over is to imply that they're
mm,
dead, that their story ends there at the
yes,
end of the book, and that you never want to give that impression. You always want
yeah.
to give the impression that, and the story continues. It's
Yes,
so
you
much
want
more
readers who can think about
satisfying.
it. Say, like,
Yeah.
I think this is what he would do next. I think this is what Emma's going to end up doing. Like,
Hmm.
not giving them all those answers, because they do have character growth to continue with,
Yeah.
and it could go multiple different directions. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Um, so I was trying to think of like other unlikable characters, because those are the two that come to mind because you talk about them. I was thinking a lot about like horror movie characters, which is kind of
Oh,
strange,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
they are like
absolutely.
the quintessential like unlikable protagonists. And sometimes it doesn't work, because sometimes they just go straight into annoying and it's a problem. Um, but I think like horror movies and like what they're trying to do, I came up with like three things that I think unlikable protagonists have to do in order to be effective. And one of those we kind of talked about where it's like redemption. Like you want to see them get redeemed, you want to see them change. You know, we could talk psychologically about that all day and how we all want to see that in ourselves and the people around us and whatever. But I think another thing that sometimes unlikable protagonists do is that they make certain like bad things that are about to happen to them more palatable, which is why I think horror movie characters are often so unlikable, because they're about to get tortured and you need to be able to kind of enjoy it and kind of get behind it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's also something that unlikable protagonists could do. I'm not saying horror movies do it great all the time. Like I actually think horror books have done it better all the times I've seen it done. But there is that sort of like, you know, they have this, I don't know, a big sin or a big problem that makes it feel a little justified when they get, you know, taken out by the ghost or hunted down by the serial killer. So that's also something like, you know, and in that case, maybe they die. So then their story does end. But it's palatable because they suck. And I noticed this a while ago that a lot of horror movies will have main protagonists or have protagonists who are like cheating on their boyfriend or cheating on their girlfriend or doing something in that vein, or like they're a terrible father, or like they're not there for their kid in some way.
I think
and so then we feel a little bit
like it's okay. Lose respect.
Mm-hmm.
But it can't just be like, because like when we started talking about this, I was like, oh, so someone who's kind of abrasive and has like personality traits you don't like. I think that that's too generic. I'm kind of seeing this bottom line here as being as like the flaws that these unlikable protagonists have are ones that make you respect them less.
Yeah.
Would you say that seems to be across the board?
I think so, yeah. I think that's fair. And then like in the Casbrecker Emma Woodhouse situation, you have like bringing the reader from disrespect to respect, right? By melting them away a little bit. And then in the horror movie way, you have them not necessarily melting at all, but the viewer then being like really gung-ho to see like
when they
how
die,
they're gonna get
it
tortured
doesn't
for
hurt.
it.
Because if they really liked the protagonist and they did, and they really respected them and they died, it wouldn't be a horror movie, it would be a tragedy. It's a different thing.
So yeah, and that I can't find the word. Often that's like the difference between a horror movie and like something that's just an adventure or a fantasy or
like a psychological thriller. That's kind of the difference between a thriller and a horror movie.
It's like how likable is that protagonist? Because if I like them, I'm rooting for them. That's a little more like a thriller or like a what else did I say? Any of the other categories I just named. But if they're again, unlikable is a hard word here because I feel like I'm double using it. But if they're just like not rootable, like you don't want to root for them, then they're not rootable. I
love so much when you make words up because it's so rare.
I try.
When they're not root forable, right?
Yeah, exactly. and I think that can be valuable depending on your genre too. So I think when you're trying to think like, do I want to do an unlikable protagonist? I do think it's more difficult than a likable one, but I do think there are situations in which you can think like, what am I trying to do here? Does an unlikable protagonist serve the plot here? Does it serve what I'm trying to say thematically? Does it serve the story overall? And in a genre where you're going to be like torturing the characters a little bit more, maybe unlikable is good because they can have those traits that make it feel, you can even feel sorry for them while simultaneously thinking, but kind of you had it coming.
Well, you can like compartmentalize easier. You can like put some distance between you and that character that's going through the hard thing instead of like feeling like what they're feeling because you don't relate to them as much. Because you're like, oh, I don't respect that. I wouldn't do that. So like, you're like, oh, I feel bad you're going through this, but also like the empathy, like the painful level of empathy is maybe not there necessarily.
Yeah. And then I think the third category, it's kind of related. I was avoiding using this word while I was just talking, which is why I stumbled a lot over my words because I want to save it for a third category. But I also think that sometimes there's catharsis in unlikable protagonists. And that's like, you know, we talk about this a lot. Stories are supposed to be cathartic in some kind of way. Like that's, I don't know if I want to say that's the point. I don't want to go so far, but it's kind of the point.
It's a main point for sure.
It's a main point. But when you have an unlikable protagonist, you sort of, as the reader, you get to experience what it would be like to just kind of let go and do those things and be those things. rather than like being a good person, right? And
That's
not,
kind of true.
I don't know, good person is a tough word, but like,
Quote
when you
unquote
think
good. Your
about,
definition
yeah,
of good. I
yeah,
definitely felt catharsis reading Kaz Brecker. Like,
that's
would
what I was
I
gonna
ever
say.
do the things that he does or make those decisions? No. Even if it would cause more problems in the long run, my moral compass would just not
Hmm.
allow me to do the things that he says and
Yeah,
does. But I do think it's like a
but
thought
sometimes,
experiment. Like,
yes.
if I didn't have that moral compass, though, I can see there'd be certain benefits to it,
Hmm.
which is what makes Kaz Brecker such a formidable criminal.
Yes.
Just because he's a
Hmm.
criminal. But I'm
Yeah,
like, interesting. So this
yeah.
is kind of what it would be if I didn't have the
Hmm.
moral compass that I have.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just it gives you this outlet to be like, okay, now I can be this, X negative quality that
Hmm.
I can't be in real life because I'm, on principle I'm against it or I'm just not that kind of person. But you get
Yeah.
to kind of cathartically pretend like you are. Here's another example from TV show House, right? Dr. House. He is like the quintessential unlikable protagonist. Like he sucks. Like he's so mean. He hates
Hmm.
everyone. He's there's not a lot going for him,
Yeah.
except that he's really good at his job. And we do see him like melt away a little bit. I really like the
Hmm.
finale of House. I don't know if most people did, but we see it go away a little bit. But there is some catharsis in seeing him be like so cruel to people and then still get to be right. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love it. And I think a lot of people do because a lot of people like that show. And it's not
Yeah.
because House is the kind of person you'd want to be friends with.
No.
So I think there is this certain like um that we could talk about a lot of things that are valuable about reading, but I think one of them is that you get to experience things in books without having to actually do it in real life. And really, this is just
Yeah.
stories. Like TV would
Yeah.
count, anything would count for this.
Hmm.
But like kind of like being a bad person is something sometimes you want the experience of being like you're frustrated and you want to vent that, or you just want
Yeah.
to know what it would be like to let go and do this thing you don't normally do. And
Yeah.
so I think unlikable protagonists can be likable in the sense that you can kind of experience the worlds from their perspective and see, like, hopefully you're going to see it lacking a little bit, but also you're going to see a
Yeah.
little bit of catharsis in that
Yeah.
realization.
They serve like a
So,
very utilitarian purpose.
yes.
Like with all of the many reasons to read, unlikable
Mhm.
protagonists do serve a very unique purpose. I think is like you said, kind of like watching certain movies, playing video games. I know also
Uh-huh.
it's like it's a very much a catharsis because I'm
Yep.
like Javi with his PTSD, he actually doesn't play a lot of first person shooters. Everyone always thinks that he does because he's in the army, but
Mhm.
he doesn't. But he gets to like
It's like
this
I do that normally, it's fine.
catharsis. Yeah, why would I want to do that for fun?
Yeah.
But no, he always explains how it's like he gets this catharsis of like getting to
Hmm.
imagine that he's like, a warrior in this fantasy world or whatever.
Hmm.
And it's the catharsis is fully why he enjoys the
Hmm.
video games. Like I'm not for everyone, I know, but like for hobbies specifically. And I think a lot of people who play video games, it's just like what would it be like if I was this person in another
Right.
world? And what would it be like if I had a good moral alignment or a chaotic moral alignment or, whatever options the game offers?
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, very similar thing with video games. And I think uniquely with video games and books, not that movies don't also have unlikable protagonists, but like,
They're a
it's
little more
hard.
first person.
More first person. You can get
Hmm.
closer to the
Yeah.
unlikable protagonist in video games and in books, for that sense of catharsis, which is interesting. I
Yeah.
think that the difference often is, like, it depends on the video game, but typically in books, we see that the quote unquote negative traits of the unlikable protagonist, while they might serve them in the moment, don't end up serving them in the long run. And so they end
Hmm.
up
There's like a
modifying
lesson there.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they kind of like lessen the negative traits and increase the positive traits and soften up a little. In video games, it tends to be more kind of like whatever the player wants to do impacts the future of
Hmm.
the game. And that can vary some game to game, but still interesting.
You can
And
like
not,
sort of destroy your own life basically because you're not real. Like your video game
yeah.
character and the book character aren't real. So like you can self-destruct to a certain degree and get like, that revenge that you want or
Yeah.
I don't know, revenge is really things coming to mind, but anything like that in real life we'd say, revenge isn't worth it, just live your life, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like, what if I did self-destruct into revenge and I got that satisfaction and then I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to live with it afterwards?
Yeah.
So it's, I think this is making me sound like a very angry person, but
I know you're
I
sounding real
think,
scary this episode. I'm
I
really
know.
liking it for you.
Um, But yeah, I just think there's like a certain catharsis in it. And I also think, so like if we go with these three categories that I just made up today, where it's about redemption,
Just a side
catharsis,
note, whenever
or
you make categories for something, like my brain is like fully willing to be like, and this is the new law. This is in the
yes,
textbook. Have you not heard of the of Carissa's
obviously,
laws of likable protagonists? Because they are the standard for the industry. Like,
I
I
I
just
would love
accept
to
them.
write the standard for the industry. It's
I
all
know
I'm
you
saying.
would.
I would
I
love
know
that
you
job.
would. And you put the
Um,
thoughts together so well and you like do notes ahead of
I
time. So
know.
I always take them like deadly seriously, just so you know.
Good. Well,
Exactly.
these are the categories for unlikable protagonists. So here they are. You have redemption, you have catharsis, and I don't know what should I make this third category. The making it palatable when bad things happen to them. Um, I don't
The
know.
I
Palatable
don't know.
evil. I don't know.
Palatability might be the easiest way
Palatability.
to say
Okay.
it.
So we're gonna go redemption, catharsis, and palatability. Where
Palatability of trauma. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. I think like these things, well, they're all kind of good. To a certain extent, they all exist in all books, if it's a good book, I would argue. But this is why unlikable protagonists are sometimes not going to be for everybody, right? Like they tend to be love hate, or they tend to be like, depending on where you were in life when you read the book, is going to be
Hmm.
dependent, is going to decide, how you feel about it. And so I think sometimes when we write unlikable protagonists, we want them to be like universally seen a certain way. And like they will be in the sense that they're unlikable, right? Like everyone's going
Yeah.
to have the same understanding of Kaz Brecker and Emma Woodhouse. I also put Holden Caulfield on here. I think he kind of counts as an unlikable protagonist. Um,
Yeah.
so people are going to have a similar impression of these people because they do have to be very specific types of people. They can't necessarily be relatable in the
Oh,
same kind of broad sense.
I have one for you. This is from a
Oh,
TV show
okay.
from Heart of Dixie. If anyone has
Oh,
watched it,
I
it's
have
very,
not, but
for some
tell
reason, it's
us.
been popping in my head today. Lemon Breland. Also, Dr. Breland, her father. If you guys have watched Heart of Dixie, you will know what I'm saying. These are
Hmm.
like maybe the two most unlikable protagonists, I would say, more than Kaz Brecker. Not
All
Dr.
right.
Breland. He's unlikable, but like a prickly old grouchy man way,
But
and
like a
he gets
normal
over
way.
it. You more like a normal way, and his like progression, he's always grouchy, but like his progression is easier to see. Lemon has quite the journey more, and she's
Hmm.
actually a really good example of even her journey when she's more likable at the end and she's grown some, she still very much retains that original personality that
Hmm.
makes her like, well, like I do respect you now and I want great
Right.
things for you. I definitely care about you, but like
Right.
I still
I still
don't
might
like
not like
you.
you. Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
okay. And I do think there are a lot of readers that just want to like their protagonists. They want to feel like they
Hmm.
could be friends and,
Yeah,
get along with them. And you know what? That's fine because
that's most books.
there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to be the unlikable protagonist that gets them there. So it
Nope.
is very like, I wouldn't make, I don't know, do I think this? I wouldn't make an unlikable protagonist just for the sake of it because I think it is going to be kind of divisive seems like a strong word, but it's going to
Hmm.
like divide people on whether or not they actually liked the book. I think whether
Yeah.
or not you like Six of Crows is really dependent on whether or not Casbrecker worked for you. I think whether you like Emma or not is really dependent on if Emma worked for you.
I think
So,
I think that's true to an extent. I think Six
mm,
of Crows might have been a slightly different scenario because, and I was going to say this before, but I forgot it. If the one caveat to what you're saying, I totally agree, except for
mm,
this one caveat, which is that if you pack the story with one or more other extremely likable
mm,
characters, but realistically likable, not like, oh, they're perfect
yes.
people, but like
Mm-hmm.
realistically just really likable, good, quote unquote, good,
Inej,
like
Nina.
Inej. Exactly. Nina.
Yeah,
There's Jasper. He's extremely
yeah,
likable. Whatever you want to say about his morals, he's a good time. So
right.
like the rest of the sort of cast of the Six of Crows book is extremely like, aside from Matthias, basically the only ones who aren't likable are Kaz and Matthias, and the
Hmm.
rest of the group, the rest of the cast, extremely likable people. So that
Yep,
might be kind of where there's a little bit of like room. Really, with Emma, it's a
sure.
character study on Emma. So
Hmm.
while what's his name that she hands up with, he's definitely like a decently good guy and like
Hmm.
probably likable, but we don't really see enough about him. So I guess like it sort of applies to that, but not really.
In my head, he's
Like
Paul Rudd because of Clueless, but that is not his name in the book.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, and Emma.
All I can think of, and this is so not correct, but because I watched the newer Emma with Kendall, and she'll be so angry. I'm sure she's like angry just and doesn't know why just in the universe right now because I'm saying this. I think that the actors they picked in the new version of Emma in the movie look like siblings. They're two adult blonde people before there was like hair bleach. So I'm
Right.
like, they're definitely siblings. Like that's my take on it. And I don't like it at all. And
Right.
Kendall hated that take. But I'm like, right. Emma's brother, which is
Yeah,
gross.
that guy she's gonna marry. Yeah.
Yeah, her big bro.
Yeah.
Ew.
Well, that's a different topic.
So to me, they were
It's
both
horrifying.
unlikable. Very hard to get behind that movie.
Yeah.
But
What was
yeah,
I
no,
saying
but
before
like
that?
to try and
Okay,
get back to like my point before I just derailed it with the whole like
we're
gross
good.
sibling thing. I
I just
think
lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I
Go.
I just think that if you're gonna have an unlikable protagonist, one way to like make sure your readers still are
Mm,
engaged and care is that you pack it with some really likable characters. Not like
yeah.
fluff ones, but like genuinely likable
Just
people.
likable.
Yeah.
You brought it back around. I was like, what were we talking about right before that? That's what we were talking about, the
Got you.
likable
I threw
people.
you off with like the brother sister lover thing. I
Yeah.
get it. It's
I,
fair. It's
I,
disturbing.
yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be thrown off by that? Um, but I do think that that is a good just principle in general that you should have likable people surrounding your unlikable protagonist. You can't make it like unrealistic, right? They'd have to be people that would reasonably be putting up with this person for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Six of Crows thing is great because they have like a common mission, right? They're
Yeah.
on, they're a team essentially for, I don't know, work or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that kind of binds them together
Mm-hmm.
until Cass Brecker starts
Yeah.
to reveal a little bit more of who he is.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like,
And here's like a fun little thing I just realized. What people's friends say a lot about them, right? Like people like
yeah,
to be like, no, that's not true. Who you hang out with doesn't matter. It does
it
matter,
does.
and it does matter. I'm
Yeah.
not saying like you can't, you're too good or not good enough for any particular person. That's a different thing. But what your close friends, what they're like says a lot about you.
Mhm.
And Kaz Brecker, all of his friends are very dedicated to him and care about him a lot. And so
Yep.
that says a lot. My sweet husband, his
Mhm.
friends that he has had for such like upwards of decades. Like he
Mhm.
is like his friends love him and they're great.
Mhm.
They're like really great. His close friends are just awesome people. So that says a
Right.
lot too, because you have to
Yeah.
go, okay, so these people who as far as I can tell, I trust their judgment, see something valuable in this person. So there's
Right.
got to be something I'm not seeing yet.
Yeah.
And
That keeps
hopefully,
you hanging on.
exactly.
You can
And then
get
if
through the annoyance.
exactly. Hopefully, if the writer's doing their jobs, then you get to start seeing the hints of what that person's friends and close ones see
Are saying.
in that person. That's
Yes.
also very much the case in Emma. Like Emma's family,
Mhm.
like you could tell how much they rely on her. What's his face? The one who's not her brother, but is kind of looks like her brother or
Yeah.
whatever. He sees the good in her. So it can also help. It's kind of like when someone
Yeah.
introduces you to someone they're dating and you're like,
Mhm.
I don't like this one. And they're like, just give him a chance, man.
Mhm.
And some that can be very hit or miss. But then if you give them a chance and you can suddenly start to see what your friend sees in that person, like
Mhm.
success, there you go. There's
Right.
an unlikable protagonist on their journey to become more likable.
And you're in the story.
And you've joined the story.
Well,
Congratulations.
yep. But yeah, and I think that's also what like horror movies do wrong is they usually make everyone really unlikable. So even if the
Yeah.
protagonist would otherwise work, it's just you get bogged down and then you don't care about
Yeah.
them as much, which again is often I think the point. I will
Yeah.
make that argument. I think it's the point, but that's not usually the point unless that's the genre you're writing in.
Unless it's horror,
So
yeah, then there
yeah,
should be us carrying some. If it's horror, I guess it makes sense that like I want to feel some apathy about these
yeah,
characters. But
right.
also then I feel bad that I feel apathetic about characters. There's so much wrong with the horror genre for me, or there's so
Yeah.
much that doesn't appeal to me, is what it
Yeah.
is about the horror genre.
There's so much about it that appeals to me that is concerning. So we'll just
Yeah,
leave that there.
that's so funny because I feel like you look at us and what you know about us, and you would think it would be the
I
reverse,
know.
but it's yeah, not at
It's because
all.
all of Ash's darkness is just on her outside. And so you're
Hmm.
like, oh, it seems like there'd be more, but there's not. It's all right
No, this
there.
is
And
it.
mine
It's
is
all
just
there,
like
deep
I have the
inside.
good layers outside and I have the
Catherine.
horror and Catherine and murder core at the center. So
Murder
revenge is
core.
a better one. Not murder. Revenge. Is that
Revenge
better?
core. That's hilarious. Vengeance, retribution. That's
Yes,
hilarious.
for
Interesting.
sure.
Yeah,
So
like
we're
I don't
switched.
think I hide my darkness. It's just there.
Right. It's just out there.
It's just out there. I don't think it's that deep. It's just
Right.
like I'm not hiding it very well because I'm not trying.
Yeah. Occasionally you'll say something, you're like, oh, but that's it. That's all that's there.
That's it.
No more darkness.
Oh, that's so
Anyway.
funny.
Um, but yeah, I think that's all I had to say about it.
Sweet.
Did we talk enough about it?
I mean, I think so. I
Did you
don't have
guys
anything else
enjoy the
to say.
conversation?
Did you guys learn something?
Yeah, if
Are
you
we
guys are doing an
likable to you?
unlikable, I know. It is interesting, like internet person, not that we're like internet personalities because we're so famous, but like,
Yeah,
internet personalities, it is interesting how many unlikable like personalities out there have so many people following them.
it's true.
And I think it's because it's one of these three characteristics. That's all I'm
It's
saying.
true. I will also say I think that there's a lot of like internet personalities specifically people will follow just to have something to hate that they feel
Yeah.
like valid in hating, which is
Hmm.
also probably more of the I think that's more of online with like the horror movie thing. So it's the palatable
Hmm.
thing. You're like, I don't feel bad hating you and following you just to hate on everything you say because
Right.
I don't like your moral alignment or I don't respect you,
Hmm.
basically. So
Right.
that is interesting. I think it largely falls into that category. Because I've even seen like Javi will like scroll through comments on videos that I'm like, why are you looking at the comments? You didn't like the
Just to get
video.
angry.
Yeah, like just to have something
Yeah.
to respond to. And I'm like, I don't
Yep.
understand this whatsoever. But it's that palatability.
Yep. For sure. For sure. I guess I was trying to think of like what are the things that will make someone pretty unlikable but still redeemable. I think, strangely enough, I think murder is one of them. Because people can, typically come back from that in a certain sense where they'd stop murdering. Um,
I'm
I
trying
think
so much.
I
Oh my
know.
God.
Pride, I think, is another. Any kind of cockiness or arrogance, even if it's super extreme or unearned. And then like meddling, like Emma, or know-it-all kind of stuff, or
Yeah.
gossip. The Emma
Yeah.
characteristics that I would qualify for her. I'm not
Yeah.
really, nothing else is really coming to mind. Just like I guess the Kaz Brecker idea of being willing to put off moral codes in order to get what you want, like for justice or for something else that is typically good. Um, and then just anything that you generally find abrasive in people, I think would also
Yeah. I
categorize.
think there's
I
also
don't
kind of
know.
that
It's hard to
like
tell.
when you get to like a toughy character, I think know-it-all is great if it's a character who's not tough because that's like a
Mm,
universally annoying trait. If
yeah.
it's someone who's like, I'm being tough, bleh, and like it's like a Casbrecker type, right? So you're
Hmm.
like, I kind of want like the morally grayness of this protagonist, which is kind of hard to pull off. I think just like a classic like Hallmark misunderstanding type thing is what you want because that is
Yeah.
what's so annoying is when one of the characters in like a Hallmark style movie is like, no, I don't have feelings for you. I'm too wounded to ever love again, even though like it's very clear that they do.
Yeah.
And then they create all of their own problems emotionally just
Hmm.
because like they wouldn't talk about their feelings. And
Right.
then you're so frustrated because you're like you are the creator of all of your own biggest problems.
Hmm.
I think that like kind of on the reverse side, like that's kind of the that could be like coinciding with the know-it-allness, or it could be something like totally on its own, like coinciding like with like over like being like overly gruff or abrasive,
Hmm.
like Casbrecker.
Yep.
You want them to be the architect of their own destruction a little bit.
I do. I liked it when you said that earlier, that it's like people that cause their own problems. Because I think that
Yeah.
is somewhat, I think that will qualify everyone. We've given it as examples. Like Emma's causing
Yeah.
her, she's meddling, right? That
Yeah.
causes problems for her. Kaz
Yep.
is on a mission, and that mission for, good or bad, however you feel about it, like it's causing problems for him.
Yeah.
Um, Holden Caulfield also, just the way he sees the
Yeah.
world, is
Yeah.
causing problems for himself.
Yeah.
Except horror movie characters usually cause their own problems
No
too.
problems.
So
Yeah.
I
That's
think
very
that's
true.
probably the thing that would distinguish an unlikable protagonist from another, because all
Yeah.
characters have flaws. But if they're aware of them and they're working on them, or they're just like aware and just,
Hmm.
whatever, it's usually not
Yeah.
that unlikable
Yeah.
until it becomes like a problem for the plot, until it is
Yes. Yeah.
really out there and
Yeah.
impossible to ignore.
Yeah. And all
So,
characters, like, because all people, we do cause some of our own problems, but there's a difference
mhm,
between I've caused problems and I've, caused my own like personal problems in my life.
mhm,
But plot problems, like when
Yeah.
their issues are big enough that they are causing their own plot problems that consume any
Hmm.
portion of the plot of the story, I
Yeah,
think that right away, there you go, you have an unlikable protagonist.
I agree. And then you
Yeah.
just got to choose. Do you want redemption for them? Do you want catharsis for the reader? Or do you want to just destroy the world?
Yeah. And at that
So,
point, you're going to have to somehow transition them out of being the protagonist. I mean, most
yeah.
likely.
Yeah. I mean, they'd either have to die or they become the villain or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, like, back to what I was saying at the beginning, where I think sometimes people mistake what an unlikable protagonist is. It's not necessarily the likable villain, which is a different thing. And I think sometimes people get those two confused. Because there
Very
are
different.
villains, so you can see why they're doing the things they're doing. It kind of is the same feeling at the core, but you write them very differently. So that's not
Yeah.
the same thing. They're both great, but it's not the same thing. And then I think sometimes people think of it as like someone that an unlikable protagonist is just some character they specifically don't like. But I think unlikable protagonists are designed to be unlikable. Like Jane Austen said of Emma, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna write a character that no one but myself will like. Like that
Yeah.
was her goal. And so
Accomplished.
yeah, so just because you don't like a character in a book doesn't make them an unlikable protagonist because other people might like them. Oh boy, have
Mm-hmm.
I been made aware of this with Akatar's fame. Okay, like just because you don't like someone doesn't mean everyone else feels the same way. But
Who? Tampon? I mean, Tamlin?
I mean, I was talking about Farah and
Oh,
Reason, but yeah,
yeah, no. Yeah, them too. Them too.
yeah. Um,
I don't know that
so
much about
that's
Reason. I
that's
enjoyed
true. You
him,
haven't
the
gotten to
way
book
he
two
appeared. Yeah,
because
because I
you're
didn't get to book
still
two.
innocent and happy and
Yep.
living your best life.
I looked around and I saw everyone else who'd read book two, and I said, "Not for me, thanks."
Nope, I'm out. The correct decision. Um, but that doesn't necessarily make Feyre an unlikable protagonist, right? Like, I think I
Hmm.
remember Kendall liking her, and I know
Yeah,
people who've liked her.
I
So
didn't
that's not
like
what it
her,
means.
but I wouldn't call her
Hmm.
an unlikable
Right.
protagonist. I don't think she's
She's
unlikable.
not
I think
designed
I
to be
don't
that
like
way.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. Unlikable protagonists are designed to be that way. So you have to be very um purposeful with the way that
Yeah.
you go about it. And I like
For
what Ash said,
example, I
where,
also
oh,
don't
go
like
for it.
Katniss Everdeen. She's not at all an
Really?
unlikable protagonist. I just don't really
Yeah.
like her, and I don't know exactly what it is. It's just like a personal preference thing. I don't really
Interesting.
like
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I was reminded this week, I texted Ash, she didn't like Legend by Marie Lu. And I know that
Yeah,
because she has said that. But every time I'm like, Ash would love this. This is totally an up her alley Ash book, and it's not.
it's
So
not.
but I love it. And a lot of people did because I don't think the characters in that could be qualified as unlikable either.
They're not, but I didn't
Um,
like them.
right, exactly. So that's just like, that's the
Yeah.
difference that you're not trying to create a character that is, if you're going for unlikable protagonists, you're not trying to create someone that some people are going to dislike. You're trying to create someone who
In
like
some
is
ways, it's universally
universally, yeah,
unlikable.
which I
Yeah.
think kind of contradicts something I said earlier, so we're gonna erase that. But this is what I actually think. I had to work through it.
I understand.
I think there is a universality to the unlikability of unlikable protagonists, and that's it. That has to be done on purpose. So,
Yeah. Well, I think it's about like an intentional balance between the things about them that are likable and unlikable. Like if any of the characters, any of these books that we mentioned, I didn't like, but they like struck like the right balance of like things that I don't like and are just
mhm,
generally like not really that likable things with like if there had been more things, if they had the things that
mhm,
I didn't like plus like a few more things that like maybe other people don't like, then I think they would be unlikable protagonists. I think they would qualify for that, but like the
right.
balance was not off because you want there to be like, you know, 15 to 20% more unlikable things, I would say, about an
Hmm.
unlikable protagonist than just a normal protagonist, neutral or likable.
Yep.
So it's also about the balance very much. Because
Yep.
like it just so happened that subjectively speaking, I didn't like some of the traits of those characters, so I didn't
Hmm.
enjoy them. But like the balance wasn't enough to qualify them as an
Right.
unlikable
You can
protagonist.
objectively see why other people would like them, but they're not
Yes.
your cup of tea, kind of. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas, yep. I really like that idea that the unlikable protagonist is someone who causes their own problems. I mean, I don't want to get too broad with that or harp on it too much, but like obviously all
Because in a
characters cause
sense,
their own
all
problems too.
protagonists do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to be
Yeah.
active in the story, but that
They cause
idea that
significant plot problems, though.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
if they were a better person, would this be happening? Kind of a thing.
Yeah. If they
I
were a
don't
better
know.
person, it would alter and like make the plot less stressful.
Yeah.
they're probably unlikable.
I don't know. There's a balance to be had there too.
Yeah.
Do you think stupidity makes someone an unlikable protagonist or just unlikable in general?
Mm,
This is the question.
I think just unlikable because I think
Yeah.
stupidity is one of the quote unquote flaws that makes people feel apathetic really quickly. I think, and that's
Mm-hmm.
also where it's like, I don't know if there's a specific formula for this one, but like you have to, it's like you're a chemist. You got to be like a little bit of this trait and a little bit of that
Yes.
trait. But like if you do too much of the wrong one, then bam, you're going to get
Balance.
apathy. And the second that
Yeah.
your readers feel apathetic about the character because they're
You
just done with
lose.
them, you lose. It's not
Yeah.
likable or unlikable anything.
I
It's
agree.
just they don't care anymore.
I think I would say, let me talk this out. Honest mistakes causing problems in the story is likable,
Yeah.
right? Because we can all relate to that.
Yep.
Stupid mistakes is probably going to, unless it's just one out of many, it's probably going to make someone, you're going to feel apathetic about it.
Yeah.
Causing your own problems on purpose because you want to cause those problems for some reason is where I think unlikable protagonists come in. So,
Yeah, that
yes,
makes
no,
sense.
sort of.
I would say the first and the second one, sorry, the first and
Yeah.
last one you said felt like unlikable protagonist territory. And then the
Okay.
second one, yeah, when it's just because they're stupid. It's just like stupidity is like it's the thing that most people, and everyone has a slightly different definition of what that is, but whatever we
Mm-hmm.
can generally agree on as stupidity is like the most sensitive of the ingredients. Like you might use a little bitty drop of that in your protagonist,
Right.
but it's just most people don't respect things that they consider stupid. So that's really
Yeah.
difficult because when someone is like openly makes a stupid decision or does something stupid or appears to be stupid, like it's just the respect and like the belief in their level of competence just drops
Mm-hmm.
so significantly. So like you can
Yes.
like everyone messes some stuff up. Everyone has stupid
Yeah.
moments, but like
Right.
also in a protagonist, like maybe like one or two. Like
Yeah.
the
Get
problem
a
should
couple
mainly
passes.
be
Yeah.
like
Nothing
other
else.
things. Give him some other flaws. Stupidity is a hard one to sell in a protagonist
Yeah.
because it just breeds apathy.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to pin this down to specifically. Hopefully, this conversation helped
Like,
someone
is it
out
a
there.
science or is it an art form? It's somewhere in
Uh,
the middle in this horrible gray area.
I know. It's so, I feel, strangely enough, I feel like sometimes I want to make writing a science, which is
I
weird because
can absolutely see that.
I know. So I'm trying to pin it down too much. So I hopefully just talking it out helps you kind of get a sense for how to write your unlikable
Yeah.
protagonist or how
You got
to feel
science
about
brain
it.
over there, and you got me
I
over here like
know.
a little bit of this and a little bit of
Yeah.
that.
As Ash is the one using the science metaphor, we are a mess.
Yeah.
This makes no
I will use
sense.
the science metaphor, but I'm not a science brain person. I'm just
Yeah.
like a it's like how I cook. Like I
Hmm.
don't
A little bit
follow
of
the
this.
recipes. I literally go, "Oh, I've looked at a recipe for this once. I bet I got this." And I don't use
Yeah.
measuring cups either. I'm just like, "That looks about right." Plop.
That's a kind of a cup. Yeah.
And I just figure it
So,
out. You just taste it as
yeah.
you go if you need to. So,
Yeah. So, unlikable protagonists. They are a challenge, but when done right, they are
they're very powerful. It's a very
chef's
powerful
kiss. It's very
thing.
good. It
It is
is.
good. And they have like a unique, I feel like a unique ability to sort of be a mirror for people that protagonists who are more likable don't quite have the same level, like the
Hmm.
same ability to be like, and look at your flaws, but it's okay. You don't have to be hopeless or feel bad about them. You can see
Right.
how you can grow out of that. So,
Yeah. And I think so
yeah.
few unlikable protagonists have just been done well. So it's kind of hard sometimes to come up with good
Mhm.
examples and understand how to do it because they too often end up in annoying or apathetic territory or they're just likable.
Yeah. Unless you have
So
a reason that you specifically
yeah,
want an unlikable
depends on the
protagonist,
story.
don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
I would say that about any archetype of any
Hmm.
character. If there's not a reason to do it, don't do it. There's just not usually as much cause unless you're really trying to make a point or do a character study. Like Emma's a character study
Yeah.
entirely. So unless like for a specific reason you want to do that one, I would just not do that one.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can have an
I agree.
unlikable like supporting character.
Yeah.
Go for that. Makes
Those be
sense. Not
good.
everyone's likable, but yeah,
Yep.
you
Get the
gotta,
everyone loves to hate them character.
yeah,
That
just
works.
bottom line, you need your readers to root for your protagonist. So whatever you do, don't make them so unlikable that they either A, don't care, or B, want to see them fail.
Yep.
If not, you're good. Even if you're an unlikable character protagonist, but people still root for them, you're good to go.
Yep. That's the
Yeah.
goal. All right.
However it takes to get there.
Yeah. However you get there. It's an art, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your mindset.
Dang it.
Darn.
A little of this and a little bit of that.
Uh,
That's so funny.
right.
All right. Well,
That's
do
all
you
I had to
have
say.
any writing updates?
Um, a little bit, yes. I'm still working on that same book that I have been working on since April. And it's just, I don't know. I've been going through so many iterations of this one scene. And I think I talked about it last week, how I had like main characters kind of wandering around to see what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And for like the sixth time in writing this story, I think I finally figured it out, like where the problem is. I had to go
Nice.
back. I swear, I have read the first 100, I only have about 100 pages written. And
Mm-hmm.
I have read and rewritten these pages 6 times.
Yeah.
Okay, like so many times. And I don't normally do that. I'm normally the keep writing and then you'll edit it later kind of a
Yeah.
writer. But I can't because I'm stuck. So I
Yeah.
keep going back and doing it. And every time I'm like, yes, this is it. This time I think I'm actually on course. Who's to say at this point? But I can see like the bridge between where I am and where I needed to be. So I think it's much
Ah.
better. And I
Yeah.
think I said this last week too. The problem is that I was trying to figure out how to make a evil government, but not totally evil. Kind of like an unlikable protagonist. Like you want,
Yeah.
like you can, you want them to succeed, but you also want to see them fail. Like you're rooting for them, but also you see how they're the bad guy. I don't know. That's kind of what I was going for. And I think
A little bit
I
like our
finally,
government. No.
yeah,
Okay.
no, there's no real life version of that at all. Um,
No, all governments are great,
no,
awesome all
they're
the time. Let's totally
perfect.
root for the government.
They're so trustworthy. Um,
Totally.
but I think I finally figured it out. And so I think I said that last time, but I actually think I figured it out. And so now I did my sixth edit of those first 100 pages. So now I'm actually writing new stuff for the first time in, I think, 2 months. So that's exciting. And I mean, maybe this is why I have revenge on the mind, because this is like a revenge story.
Ooh.
So that's, just a little teaser for one day.
That's so
Um,
funny. I'm so curious.
but yeah.
Revenge is a
Hmm.
concept that I don't relate to very much. I've never really been a vengeful person. I have other like
No.
bad like qualities and other things that I'm drawn to. But like
Yeah.
revenge is I've always been like, why? To me, just like my brain goes like, what good does
Let
it
it
do
go.
you? It just like is
See,
like, how does it
I know
benefit
that's the
me?
correct reaction, but I do like there are just a few things, right? It's
Uh-huh.
not a lot of things. I don't think I'm like an easy to snap person. There are a few things that just rub me the wrong way. And I just wanted to write a book with a character that would go off on them and like the
So
catharsis
interesting.
level. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, and it's weird because I had the emotion, but not the thing that would make her want to do that. So that's what I was really struggling with. Like, what could these people do?
Ah,
Like, there needs to be a betrayal
interesting.
aspect. So she had to believe
Yeah.
that they were on her side, but there has to be
Yeah.
like a legitimate, bad thing happening. So I don't know.
Interesting.
That's all very vague and probably not very helpful, but I am on my way. So that's what I've been
Nice.
doing there.
Excellent. You're on your journey.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Nice. Hmm.
How has writing been for you?
It hasn't. It hasn't
Ah,
been.
okay.
Shocker, shocker. I actually am like in, like I said, like a very strong reading era though, which
Hmm.
gives me more hope than I've had in a long time because typically in my past, when I have had like successful eras of writing, like large amounts, it has been preceded by copious amounts of reading.
Yes.
So I'm hoping, yes, but I'm also going to just go ahead and take all the pressure off of myself for this month because I'm having a very rough mental health month. And also with
Yeah.
Javi gone, who is my support for when I'm having rough mental health months, it's like extra difficult. So I'm just like,
Sure.
if I keep it together, if I just like log into work each day and I don't scream at anyone, like
Yeah.
if I don't break things or just drive my car into the distance, into the sunset and don't come back, I'm doing such a good
This
job.
is success.
This is success. So I'm just like this month just kind of like focusing on like just existing and just doing my
Sure.
best at existing and
Cool.
reading, which has been
Yeah.
fun. So I'm also
Yeah.
because I'm taking the pressure off to try and get any writing done this month. I'm actually also able to enjoy the reading more because I don't feel guilty for spending my limited free time reading instead of writing, which is weird that I
Mm.
felt that way before because reading is a very valid part of the writing
Yeah.
process. Um, But so I'm like really enjoying it. And
Yeah.
I am also looking forward to, I think next month, my mom and I are trying to find like a weekend to like go away somewhere, even if it's just like an hour
Mm.
out of town. So like she can be away from her chores and I can be away from my chores, and she's gonna like do some stuff on her computer she doesn't usually get the chance to do. And
Mm.
I'm going to try and get some writing done.
Yeah.
So I also have that like in my vision in the future, and I'm very excited. So
Oh, good.
yeah, so that's kind of my update.
Cool.
A little update. Yeah.
Nice.
I also have like the loosest idea for like a like sort of like Macbeth inspired story,
Mm.
like thriller that would be really good. But I want to
Nice.
finish the books I'm working on right now because I really
Yep.
like both of them.
This is
So,
why, okay, like sometimes you or other people are like, wow, you write first drafts in a month. I'm like, yeah, because if I don't, then all the other ideas pile up and I go insane because I can't move on, but I can't finish the one I'm on.
it really
So
sucks.
yeah, that's like, I
It
have
really
so many other
sucks.
ideas in my head. And I think part of the reason it's been so hard for me to write lately is I want to write this other thing, but like
Hmm.
I can't. I can't move on from the
Yeah.
one I'm working on until the first draft is done. And so
Yeah.
my heart's just not in it. And so I think I'm finally getting to the point where my heart's in it. But if I have too
Yeah.
many drafts going, I can't do it. So I totally
Yeah,
understand.
I really can't do more than like two drafts at once and actually make progress. So I have like
Yeah.
my maximum right now, and it's stressing me out. And the only reason I can't is because they're very, very different. One is
Hmm.
a fantasy and one is a thriller. So
Yeah.
very different.
You're not mixing them up
Wonderful.
in your
Not
head or
mixing them up.
anything.
No. And and I definitely want to do like the Macbeth like inspired story, but like that's just
Hmm.
gonna have to be a later priority. But yeah, the
Yeah.
gears are turning, which is honestly in itself a miracle at this point.
Mhm.
So that's my update.
Yay.
Do you have anything else that you want to share with the listeners?
Nope. That's it for
All
me.
right. Well, if you guys enjoyed this episode, and don't lie, you know you did. You know that it wasn't entirely unlikable to you, um, except for the word hirsute, which we all disliked immensely.
It's true.
But that's okay. I'm gonna
You're welcome. Of
absolutely pretend that I have never heard that word in my life as soon as
course.
we log off. I'm gonna be like, what? I don't know the word of the
Just
week.
think about soccer
So,
instead and all the fun stuff you can use against the British now.
a sucker. I'm gonna absolutely do that.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys wouldn't mind leaving us a review, leave us all the stars. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel so you get notifications when we post something new. If you guys don't already, you can follow us on social media. We are the Scripturient Society. We're on Instagram and TikTok. We also have a writers group on Discord. The link to that is in the chat below if you guys want to tell us what you're working on, or send us a cute picture of your cat, whatever it is. You can also reach out to us on social media or email us at contact@storysirensstudio.com. That's our production company. We've got merch on that website. You can email us. We do get emails, so whatever you guys want to do, we want to hear about what you're working on. If you think we said anything absolutely crazy and you just wholeheartedly disagree, I would love to hear from you, because that is what this is. This is a writing group and a
Tell
conversation,
us.
and we would love to hear that from you. So anyways, reach out, let us know what you thought about this episode, about this topic, what you're working on, what you're noodling around with in your brain, and that's everything we've got. So until next week or the week after next, keep writing.
And we'll see you on the next page.